Hello everyone, my name is Salauddin Hasan. I am a student of Computer Science and Engineering, Kumila University. Today, my presentation topic is Clockhead RS flip-flop and JK flip-flop. The SR flip-flop is a fundamental building block in digital electronics used for storing a single bit of data. There has two components, input and output. In input, S and R. S used to set the output Q to 1 and R used to reset the output Q to 0. And there is two output who are Q and Q prime. Q stores the data either 1 or 0, and on the other hand Q is always the opposite of Q. Flip-flop RS is in storage device registers and sequential circuits. There has a normal SR flip-flop circuit in this presentation. If S and R both 0, the latch remains in its previous state. Its whole its circuit below. If S0 and R is equal 1, it's called reset state. If S1 and R0 is called set state. Its latch is set, which means the output Q is set to 1 and Q prime becomes 0. And 4, if S1 and R is 1, means both S and R being 1 results in an invalid state where both Q and Q prime are undefined. There, here has given two circuit. One is NOR and one is NAND. Simply, SR flip-flop circuit is two types, NOR and NAND. And here is given SR flip-flop truth table. Here is inputs S and R and output Q and Q prime in two stages. One is present and one is next. And there has some state, no change, reset, set and indeterminate. There is some advantage of SR flip-flop. There is also disadvantage too. The advantage is simple design, easy to understand and build. Basic memory storage. It can store a single bit 0 or 1, useful for building larger memory systems. It has other advantages like foundation for other flip-flops like J key, D and T flip-flops. It is also useful in simple LED circuits. On the other hand, the disadvantage is undefined state, limited application, no clock control, sensitive to noise, extra circuitry for clocking. Here is given the explanation. You can read yourself. The application of SR flip-flop in various purposes. SR flip-flops are basic memory elements used widely in digital electronics for storing and controlling binary data. There is the key application in below, like data storage, signal synchronization, simple toggle circuits, user input and output panels, like others. You can read yourself for better acknowledgement. Now there is a full information about JK flip-flop. JK flip-flop is an enhancement of the SR flip-flop. Means if you want to understand JK flip-flop, you have to understand before SR flip-flop. It has two inputs like RS flip-flop, but in JK flip-flop the inputs are J and K. J means set, RK reset, and two outputs like RS, K and Q prime. The key feature of the JK flip-flop is to ability to toggle in both J and K are set to 1. This is not present in other types of flip-flops like SR flip-flop. And there is given a simple JK flip-flop circuit. You can see the truth table of JK flip-flop is given here. Here Q of t is the current state of output and Qt plus 1 is the next state of output. If J0 and K0 output Qt and the here has given all the input and output, you can see for your betterment. Here has given a full JK flip-flop circuit. It is the main flip-flop circuit in JK. Working of JK flip-flop. When both J and K0, the output remains the same as its previous state, remaining the current state. Means here is no change. If J0 and K1, the output becomes 0 regardless of previous state reset. When J is equal to 1 but K is equal to 0, the output becomes 1 regardless of its previous state is set. If both is 1, means output toggles to its complement. 3 input NAND gates have been used in designing of JK flip-flop. NAND gate is a universal logic gate. Here is given JK flip-flop table. Here is given the trigger inputs here J and K. J and K value is 0 or 1 and output has two states, present and next, which is K, Q and Q prime. You can see here is the input. If you input 0 and 0, the output is 0 1 0 1. If you give 0 1, output is 0 1 0 1. Here is given some input. Now race around scenario in JK flip-flop. The race around condition happens when both J and K inputs are set to 1. That means NJK is equal to 1 and the clock pulse remains high for an extended period. In this scenario, the output starts to toggle continuously between 0 and 1. When it occurs, feedback loop or propagation delay. The next, the J and K is equal to 1 and the flip-flop acts like a toggle switch. Where is how the race unfolds. Initially, let's say Q is equal to 0. That means output Q is equal to 0 due to the high block pulse. J is equal Q is equal 1. The output Q changes to 1 after the propagation delay, but Q prime is new value 1 feedback to the input due to feedback loop. After that, there has some application of JK flip-flop, like you have described in before slide that RS flip-flop also had application. In JK flip-flops, a type of sequential logic circuit find application in various digital electronic systems. Here memory and sequential behavior is required. Here are some common application of JK flip-flops. Counters, registers, frequency dividers, memory elements, state machines, toggle flip-flop, pulse generators, etc. In this presentation, you have learned about the JK flip-flop and RS flip-flop for general knowledge. I hope you all have understood the presentation and the topic. Thanks all. Assalamu alaikum.